Hello, everyone. It's Rob the Replicator here. I just wanted to do a quick video about hiring artists, just some tips and tricks, I guess, to make sure it works out for you as a creator and the artist really as well. So the first thing would be is once find an artist, you've discussed a page rate and the deadlines and what it is. They're happy to work with it. The first thing you want to do is put it down in the contract. And you've heard me say before that contracts aren't really worth much, because unless you're willing to enforce it, what are you going to do? Right? Exactly. So, but what it does do is it it signals an intention from both you and the artist about what is going to take place, right? So you can always refer back to that. You can always bring it up. This is our agreement. This is what we agreed to. This is what I expect. And if it's not happening, you've always got that there. So that is the first thing I would do. Get them under contract, and it's a bit of a red flag if an artist doesn't want to sign a contract. So that's a little small note as well. There's no reason not to. It just protects both of you. Deadlines. You want to set up some deadlines, and here's the thing with deadlines. You might have pre-planned all your stuff, so you've got 6 months, right? And you might go, I need 20 pages in 6 months. That's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is you say, I need 1 page a week, because what will happen is with some artists, and don't get me wrong, this only applies to some people, not all artists, just some. This is kind of worst case scenario type stuff. What will happen is if they've got 6 months, they will work on other stuff for 5 months. And then in that last month, they'll try and do the 20 pages. The quality will suffer. Your book will be late, and you'll be in a bit of a pickle. So that is definitely something to do. You want to have more frequent deadlines than 6 months time. I think John Malin ran into that same exact problem when he was doing graveyard shift stuff. He had planned for 6 months, for example, and he was expecting the artists to do that, but it just didn't happen that way. So what you want to do is start small and work your way. Oh, sorry, this one first. Pay bonus based on deadlines. So this is something that kind of rewards the artist and helps you keep on track. Maybe consider giving the artist a bonus if they're making their deadlines. It's a benefit for both of you. So I think it's a good idea, and something I would probably look to do moving forward. I gave my guys bonuses on Rep 3, and I increased their page rate for Rep 4, but I didn't do it based on deadlines. Lucky enough, I didn't need to. They're both fantastic. But just giving people bonuses because may not be the best idea. Maybe give them bonuses based on their performance. I don't know. It's just something to consider. The next part is start small and work your way up. So what I mean by that is you need to find out how it is working with a person, because you don't want to do, if you've got a 144 page book, for example, right? You don't want to commit to 144 pages with an artist if they're terrible, right? If they're horrible to work with, it feels like pulling teeth to get pages. They're very slow. The quality is drops off. You don't want to be in that situation, because it sucks. So what you would want to do is start off small, maybe get them to do, a concept or a pin-up, see how they are to work with. Like if they can't even manage to do that within a timely manner, it's unlikely that they're going to be able to do the book, right? So, and then move on to a sample page, and then go from there. Maybe start them on a smaller book, like an ash can or anything along those kind of lines, just to see again how it is working with them. And when they do a sample page too, like that won't always be an indication of the quality of the remaining pages. I've seen this that someone turns in an incredible sample page, and then the next pages look terrible in comparison. So that is concerning, and that is something you need to be mindful of. And it ties into this point too, that I wouldn't go past 5 pages paid under any circumstances. Like if your artist is telling you that they'll send you all the pages at once, that is concerning, because if the pages don't look good, and they turn them all in, you're in a financial pickle, right? So I wouldn't go past 5 pages. You can even do one for one. They turn in 1 page, you pay them 1 page. This is obviously going to change the more you get to know your artist, the longer you've worked with them. I usually pay my guys 5 in advance, and they're fine. But yeah, that is something really to consider as well. And also this point, and this is something I didn't expect, and maybe it's a bit of naivety, but professional artists won't be a guarantee of anything. So what I mean by that is, like, if you have a guy or girl from the mainstream that have been in the industry for 20 years, and you hire them to do work, that doesn't guarantee that the work that they do is going to be quick, quality, or even a good time working with them, right? I've been in this situation. It doesn't guarantee you anything. It may increase the chances of that being the actual case, that they are fantastic to work with, they turn out quality work, but it doesn't guarantee it. So again, it goes back to the contract. It goes back to not paying them too far in advance of what they're actually working on. So that is the basics. Then it comes down to, if you find a good artist, do everything you can to keep them. As I said earlier, I paid my guys a bonus. I gave them a pay rise for the next book. When COVID hit, William couldn't get money out of the banks because they shut the banks down where he was from, but the credit unions were still open. I paid him in advance 5 pages, which cost me nearly $1,000 because of the exchange rate at the time. But it's stuff like that you should do. Like, you want to have a good working relationship with these people. You want them to be invested in you and your project, and you want to treat them like human beings. So yeah, if you find a good one, try and keep them as much. Do everything you can to keep them. So this is another point: avoid percentage splits. So I would avoid percentage splits regardless. I don't think there would be many circumstances in which I would ever do a percentage split. Maybe if and it happens, like an incredible artist comes on your radar and they want to do a percentage split with you, it would be tempting, wouldn't it? Right? Imagine like Kenneth Roquefort wants to do a percentage split with you. That would be tempting, wouldn't it, Kenneth? But unless you've worked with this person before, and I would say, like, done multiple projects with this person, I think it's a really risky proposition, because let's say you crowdfund a book, just throwing numbers out there. It does 100 grand, for example, and then the artist is not turning in the work. What are you going to do? You can't really fire them because they own a percentage of that money. You can't really afford to hire a new artist. I just think it's a really risky proposition, and I would try and avoid it under any circumstances I possibly could. Okay, so when looking for an artist, these are, I guess, 4 of the main things that you can look for. There's probably more that I've forgotten about off the top of my head, but I wrote this out quickly. So cost, speed, quality, and enjoyment of working with the artist. So back when I started, it was kind of cost and quality were the main things. It's not anymore. Speed, I think you can kind of you can pre-plan and pre-organize stuff that speed is not a huge deal. Like you can get ahead of it if you're organized enough. But quality and enjoyment of working with them is huge for me now. All right. If obviously this is number one for me, but if they're not fun to work with, and like I'm not talking like, oh, let's have a great time. I'm talking about, like if it's horrible trying to get pages out of these people, that they're turning in work that's not up to par, and you're having to make them go back and do edits after edits because the quality is not there, or whatever other reason. It's just not fun. Like this, it makes it a lot harder than it has to be, and that is something that it's a big one for me now. Because yeah, like we say, like making comics isn't easy. So you want to enjoy the time that you're doing it, and if working with an artist is not enjoyable, it's unlikely that you're going to enjoy your time doing these comics. So that's it. Let me know what you guys thought. Yeah, and like I said, this doesn't apply to all artists. This is just kind of like a worst case scenario type thing. But I pretty much guarantee at some stage everyone will run into, an artist, and I'm sure in artist circumstances they will run into a creator that's the same as like the opposite. They will have problems with the creator. But it does happen. It's happened to me. I could pretty much tell you it's happened to everyone that I know that's hired people. It's just how it is. But yeah, as a creator, you need to make sure you're paying your artists on time. That is probably the major thing that they need. And if any artists have any comments about, how horrible it can be working with creators, please let me know in the comments, because this is just me looking at it from one side, and yeah, I'm sure it's not all roses and sunshine as well. All right, guys, thank you very much. I hope you liked the video. Hit like and subscribe if you can, and I'll see you on the next one.